Move your body like a seesaw. Move your body like a tic-tac. Feel your mama got a reason. Jesus, baby, making me so good. Miles already with the seat. Trust me, baby, yeah, you know, so we flow. Don't go away, come get closer. Move your body like the shake of Morocco. Move your body like a seesaw. Move your body like a tic-tac. Now I feel like if you come.
Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Thursday's vlog day. Yay! So today, since it's officially been fall for a while now, and it's about to be freezing and it's about to be winter, and I'm like already wearing a warm coat and I'm already wearing a sweater. For those of you who don't know, winter season is traditionally what people call bulking season. So bulking basically means, in like bro terms, like putting on and growing your muscles as much as possible. And usually we do it in the winter because we're all bundled up. We're wearing baggy sweaters, we're wearing baggy clothes. And when it comes to bulking, when it comes to putting on muscle mass, usually that means there's a little bit of fat that also comes with it. This is pretty normal, so don't get scared. And I think for a lot of females, we typically want to gain mass in our legs or our butts. I pretty much spent a full year and a half just like really focusing on growing my legs, growing my butt, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do that. So about 2-ish years ago, I weighed around 130, 132. I now weigh 140. It has pretty much been packing on muscle in my glutes and my legs. I definitely have gained some muscle in my upper body as well. I'm a lot more muscular in my upper body than I was when I first started working out. So that's a lot of weight to gain and to still feel like I have a pretty flat stomach. And I'm not exactly sure what my body fat percentage is. I've never like really totally done an accurate body fat percentage calculation. Just based on the way I look and the way I feel, I'm pretty comfortable with the amount of fat that I have on my body. Gaining that 8 pounds, you think like, oh my gosh, I gained 8 pounds. I'm not too like upset about it. I'm pretty happy about it actually. How to build a booty. Number one thing, you have to lift heavy. So I think a lot of females in the gym have this feeling or this idea that they're too scared to lift heavy, or if they want to be toned, they have to lift light. I actually just recently did a post on this. But in order to grow your glutes, in order to grow your legs, in order to really grow anything, we have to have a progressive overload, which is basically just an increase in stress over a period of time. So you want to start with, a weight that you're comfortable with. If you're totally new to this, I would say start kind of light. Don't kill yourself. Don't grab a weight and then hurt yourself, Definitely start with something that feels comfortable. But over time, you don't want to just be lifting the same weight over and over and over again, because that's not how changes occur. So, once you start to feel comfortable, make sure that you're then increasing the amount of weight that you're lifting. Normally, what I do in the gym is I focus on lifting like as heavy as I can for the first few exercises. Not as heavy as I can, but on the heavier side, between like a 3 to 6 rep range. Exercises like a deadlift, a squat, glute thrusts. Those are like our 3 key for building glutes and legs: squat, deadlift, glute thrusts. Glute thrusts being the main one for booty. But you want to start with lifting on the heavier side. You want to do 4 to 5 sets of 3 to 6-ish rep range, lifting heavy. Then you can move on to the 8 to 12 rep range, which is then in our hypertrophy rep range. Hypertrophy basically just means if we're trying to build mass, we want to stick with the hypertrophy, which is 8 to 12. We want it to be about 80% of our 1 rep max. So basically our 1 rep max is basically if we could only do 1 rep of a squat, how heavy would that be? So basically the absolute heaviest you can lift, and you can only do 1 rep. So you want to be lifting about 70 to 80% of your 1 rep max in the 8 to 12 rep range. Okay, that all sounds complicated, and like I might have lost some of you. Anyway, so I usually do my strength in the beginning, and then I'll move to some of my accessory exercises with the cables, the machines, some lighter weights with using the dumbbells, doing like single leg deadlifts or goblet squats or some drop sets. Anyway, that was kind of a long number 1. I don't know. I feel like that should have been split into 2. But basically, what I do is exactly that. Lift heavy. Number 1, lift heavy. Number 2 is to eat a lot of food. So what I would recommend is not being super constricting with what you're eating. So remember, this is the time to build muscle, and what our muscles need to grow are glycogen and protein. So a lot of people are really afraid of sugar and they want to eat clean, completely clean. That's all fine and dandy and great, but I actually recommend when you're trying to build your glutes to actually, right after you have something to refuel your glycogen stores to help with protein synthesis. So I really like to have Lenny and Larry's Complete Cookies. Those have some sugar in them, and those will really help with the protein synthesis and refueling your glycogen stores. So I like those. You can feel free to eat things with a little bit more carbs and sugar, especially right after you work out. If you're like the type of person that always craves a chocolate bar, or chocolate or candy or sugar or a sugary thing, then the perfect timing to actually have that sugary thing that you love and want so much is right after you work out to help refuel and with protein synthesis. So this is not the time if you're trying to really bulk up and really gain some mass to like just eat lettuce. Yeah, I mean, obviously, not gonna lie, I know like a lot of girls are like, oh, I just like want a flat stomach, like I don't want like to get fat, blah blah blah. Like, be mindful, like don't just like shove pancakes and milkshakes in your face like all day every day. Like, let's be a little realistic. But it's okay to have like things with a little bit more sugar, especially right after you work out. Whatever, I'm all about moderation. Live your life. But now is definitely not the time when we're trying to bulk to be super like, oh my gosh, I'm eating clean. So yeah, have that brownie, girl. Have that brownie. Number 3, stay away from cardio. It's like, I might get some backlash for that because cardio is definitely really important for our heart health. You shouldn't just like totally skip cardio altogether, but if you like have a completely flat butt and skinny legs, then I really don't recommend doing cardio while you're trying to bulk up. It'll just prolong the process. So definitely like still stay active, you know, like I live in New York City, so I walk every day. And it's just gonna prolong the process. So if you really wanna see results faster, I really don't recommend doing too much cardio while you're trying to build your butt. And I'll just say the last thing, like, I would really be patient, guys. It takes time. Like I've been focusing on it for like 2 years on and off, just figuring what works and what doesn't. And these things have worked for me, and it's a process. It takes time. Be patient. Don't just like give up after a month, you know. It takes time for our body to change and our body to grow. So those are my tips. I'm gonna show you now some videos of me doing some of my favorite booty exercises. Happy Thursday.
Yeah, move your body like a seesaw. Move your body like a tic-tac. Feel your mama got a reason. Jesus, baby, making me so good. Miles is ready with the seat warm. Trust me, baby, yeah, you know, so we go. Don't go away, come get closer. Move your body like the shake of Morocco. Move your body like a seesaw. Move your body like a tic-tac. Now I feel like if you come over, baby, you are making me so hot. Move your body like a seesaw. Move your body like a tic-tac. Now I feel like if you come over, baby, you are making me so hot. Where you there? We can walk up on her leg. She not easy, but she slay. We can link up anyway. Got so many things we said. Put it way back away. It's a hurt if she not play. I still love it how she stay. Where you there? Got me flying like a plane. Where you there? You moving like a snake. Where you there?